Well then, let's get started, shall we? Hello everybody! My name is Mary, or as you probably know me, Carbone Arts. I am doing for you today an how to draw expressions video. Because I hear people say like, wow, you're really good at drawing expressions, and then they're like, I'm really bad at drawing expressions, and I'm like, damn, well why don't I just show you how? You know? So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna, as you can see, do them each expression in 3 levels of intensity. And our subject today is Charlie from Hazbin Hotel because she's the princess of hell and she deserves it. And also when I practiced this, I used her. So that's who we're using today. And so we're gonna start off easy. We're gonna start off with happy. It's a good way to start any video with some happiness. Now, as you can see here, this is a very basic happy expression. Very, just normal. We've got eyes open. We've got pupils just kind of looking straight ahead. We've got eyebrows, in this sort of up shape. Because that's kind of the whole deal with happiness, is like up. Features are going to be going up. So we've got the smile, the nose, and this is a good expression. It conveys well enough. It's just not the most dynamic or like eye-catching or intense. It can be improved, is what I mean. It can be elaborated upon, and that's the whole point of this, is showing you not only how to draw a basic expression, but elaborate on it in a way that makes it more interesting to look at. Not those. Alright, and here we're moving on to happiness level 2. So as you can see, this is something that I like to do with eyes a lot. And you can think about this if you try smiling yourself. It pushes up like your cheek muscles, and it pushes up the bottom of your eyes. So it creates this sort of upward shape that is really good. If you draw it, it's really good at adding some tension and making it more dynamic. And now we've got the mouth open. In general, when doing expressions, if you open the mouth, it's going to make it more intense. And that's just kind of a general rule. Of course, you can play around with it. And as you can see, I've added these little emote lines. Those are, we're going to be using those a lot today. Those are I use them all the time, and they're very good for adding to an expression something like maybe a semblance of movement, something that just the face alone wouldn't be able to convey. I'm just going to draw her little bust figure. And oops. And here we move on to straight up laughter. Now, eyes are shutting, and laughing is a very tense emotion. It's like an energetic sort of emotion. So we've got like these sort of lines here that her eyes are kind of scrunched shut, and instead of having the eyebrows going up, they're going kind of down, because when you're laughing you tend to do that. Mouth's open really wide, and I've kind of moved her face, or not like that, there we go, up, because usually for one, it's to go with that happiness theme of going up. The facial features are going up, but also when you laugh, you might tend to throw your head back a little bit. And just adding little things like that, like thinking about the way that your face looks when you show an expression, it's just a good way to add a bit of realism. And really, when somebody's looking at that character, they're going to relate to that character more. And then this can sort of she's laughing, there's sound coming out of it. That's why we have these little lines here. She's seen the funniest thing he's ever seen in her whole life. Probably. Now then, we're going to move on to sad. The opposite of happy. And sadness, unlike happiness, which is always going up, the facial features are going to be going down in general. That's always a good thing to remember, is down shapes. So as you can see here, this is a very simple sad expression. We've got some tired lines, which I like to add to a lot of expressions to make them look more dynamic. We've got the eyebrows going down in that nice downward shape. We've got the eyelids drooping. They're not drooping too much. The pupils are still fully visible. They're not being cut off by the eyelids. But they're there to make her look kind of tired and like disappointed. Like this is sort of just a disappointed expression. Like you're sad but you're not like devastated, you're just bummed out. Like your phone broke and you gotta go like get it repaired and you don't want to have to pay the money. Just everyday problems, I suppose. Cheeks. And again, I do this thing a lot where I draw mouths going off of the face. It's just kind of a part of my style. You certainly don't have to do it, but I think it looks nice and I do it a lot. You can do it if you want. I mean, I don't know, I'm not your mom, but yeah, it's just something that I do. I thought I should point that out. Oh my god. Hydration time. Water. Important. Now then, next we have sadness number 2. And this is sort of getting close to, like crying. And crying is a very interesting emotion. It's not what you would think of immediately, because it's less of an expression of like sadness and more of an expression of like pain, if you will. I'm not really conveying it very well here, but you'll see. Because instead of the sort of droopy eyebrows, we have these sort of very tense eyebrows with this line in the middle here from where the skin is smushing up. Because I suppose when you're crying, you're in emotional pain. So it's definitely more of like it's an expression with a lot of energy. A very tense, pained expression. And she's looking downwards. She's no longer looking forwards. We're bringing stuff down. Eyes, mouth open. We've got some bigger bags under the eyes here. And then just finish off the rest of her little figure. Boop. And here's something that I like to do. This is a good technique. If you take a brush, usually just like a basic pen, and you drop the opacity, makes a lovely blush effect. Because remember, when you're crying, your face turns super red, your eyes kind of turn red. We've also got those little circles that are like the tears welling up in her eyes. All good ways to sort of bring the sadness gradient up, if you will. And here we have just like straight up like sobbing. So we're bringing back the more droopy. There's sort of like they're still going down at the ends, but they're different. They're more pained, if you will. Eyes are shut now. They're shut instead of like a down position. It's up, which always signifies just more tension, if you will, either for happiness or sadness. And we've got some lines going. And the way I draw tears is it's good to have you have like this welling up at the top, and then it falls down with the curvature of the cheeks, and then you can see like the actual drop at the bottom. It's just a nice way to do it like simply, and you don't have to go through the whole drawing these. It's a way to convey it without there being too much visual noise, I find. And now mouth is open. I find that this sort of mouth shape where the bottom lip is kind of being pushed up, that's a very good crying mouth shape. Like you're just like blubbering. I feel bad. Yeah, we're making her so sad today. This is to educate the people, but she's so sad, and it's making me sad because that's the power. Drawing good expressions. And we're gonna do the same thing again with the pen. Bigger. Whoops, I clicked the wrong one. There we go. Thank you. Got that blush going. She's got a little bit of snot coming out of her nose too, because I know at least when I cry, I get very snotty. Crying is like low-key traumatic. I do not enjoy it. Some people cry like all the time. I barely ever cry. I don't understand those people. Anyway, I digress. We're moving on to angry. Now, here we have a very basic angry expression, like you're playing Uno and you get like a reverse card on you, and like you kind of want to like strangle your friend who did it, but you're also like, it's not that big of a deal, so I'm not going to worry about it. That's what this is. Just sort of a general mad expression. Now, one thing that I like to do a lot to make expressions look a little crazier is to make one eye different from the other. Like, as you can see here, we have the eyelid is up a little bit, like her eye is twitching or something. That's something you see a lot in cartoons. They'll make a character's eye twitch when they're mad. And we've got the mouth down and a frown, and we've got the anime vein popping out thing, which is, it's just a classic look. It's a classic little emote. And it makes things a little silly. It can lighten up an angry expression if you want to do that, or if you want to make it more like serious, you can leave it out. I find that I think it's cute. I like adding it. Here we are. Now angry level 2. Her eyes are starting to narrow, as you can see. And the eyebrows that we're using, they're like check marks. I find that they often look better than just like these angry eyebrows. If you have like these like check mark shape, it's kind of like the flesh squishing up in the middle. It makes it look extra like mad. So I like to use that eyebrow shape. And let's add her eyelashes. And the tops of her pupils are being cut off by the upper eyelid. That's it gives it a slightly different look. You could do it like they're in the middle, but it makes it look a little different. It's just personal preference. I'm gonna do it today with the eyelids getting cut off, but again, it's all about what you want to do. It's what do you want your character to be telling the viewer. It's all about what you want them to be doing, I suppose. And we've got the eye, and that's a face shape that I like to use, a mouth shape, excuse me. This snarl shape where you can kind of see her teeth. That's the good one. It's like a dog growling or something. It's something that I use it all the time. I use that mouth shape all the time. And now we're up to super mad. So we've got eyes very wide now. Pupils small. In fact, we can make them like a little circle. Makes them look even more wide. So look in the right direction, please. Thank you. And now we're gonna do the eyebrows are a little different. It's that same checkmark shape, but the end part is curved down, as you can see. I find that it makes it look a bit more dynamic and cool. And because her eyes are opening so wide, we've got these big lines here, like the skin is like stretching open because she's opening them so wide. She's super crazy mad. Like maybe someone insulted her girlfriend or something, and she's just straight up yelling at this point. And we've got, again, some lines there. Like she's giving off a lot of sound because she's yelling. And here we've got, and there's also another little thing I'm going to do here. We can add these little veins. This is another thing you see in cartoons a lot, like their eyes are just bulging out of their head because they're so crazy mad all the time. Not all the time, but during this time. She's super mad. And another thing that you can do is do the blush thing again. Because, you know, sometimes when people get really mad, their faces turn red. That's a good thing to add to your character. Now then, we're going to do disgust. And this is an odd one. This is an odd emotion. It can be difficult to convey. I find that it often overlaps with like a confused expression. it's pretty interesting. It's a challenge to draw, but hopefully I can help y'all out with this. So here we've got small pupils, eye bags. The bottoms of the eyes are turned up again, but instead of like, it's making her expression more tense. Instead of like where it was making it look happier, now it's making it look more disgusted or I must be coming down with something. Sorry I'm coughing so much. And here we are. We've got that nice wavy mouth that I like to use for, it's a good like confused to like grossed out look. And now we have even more grossed out. This one is a good one for because we've got again that big eye contrast. We've got one that's open pretty wide. The eyebrows are contrasting too. We've got one that's shut really like tight. It's only barely open. And that just makes her look even more weirded out and grossed out. Just not happy. Like you walk into the kitchen, you want to like get, a cup of tea or something, and there's a roach on the counter, and you're just like, why am I alive? It's just like that. And just finish out her face. There we go. Boop. Okay. And now we have super gross out. This is like the only one where I turned her face to like a 3/4 view. I mean, it's not something that I'm going into a lot in this video because we're mainly focusing on like facial expressions, but I find that I thought I would touch on it here. Turning the actual view of the face can do a lot, especially like if someone's feeling ashamed, they might be looking away, or if they're sad, they might be looking down. And here, she's so grossed out by what she just saw that she's like turning away from it. And that's why I have her face turned to the side like this. And then we have these little lines where she's like, bleh. She's got her tongue sticking out, like, bleh. It's so super gross. Crazy grossed out. Grossest thing she's ever seen, ever, probably. And we've got the shoulders kind of scrunched up. And, of course, the lines around the eyes to make them look more tightly shut. And now, let's do fear. Woo! This is October 1st when I'm filming this, so it's pretty spooky. It's spooky time. It's spooky season. So now we ready for fear. Now, very wide open eyes, big circles. We've got those stretchy marks again to make it look like, they're so crazy wide. They're like stretching it out, right? And we've got tiny pupils and eyes. This is like kind of a surprise face. So the eyebrows are going up. Like, whoa, I'm in a conversation with a group of people, and I'm gonna make the mouth smaller. And someone was like, I don't agree with the LGBT community, and then everybody else starts agreeing with them, and you're like, oh dear, oh no, please, oh no, oh somebody open a window, it's a little hot in here. Also, I would like to jump out of it at the soonest point in time I can because I am uncomfortable and I want to escape this situation as quickly as possible. That's like what this expression is. And now we move on to fear, more intense fear. Now we have the eyelids, they're going up. They're sort of to make it look more tense. We've got the eyelids going up, and the pupils are getting bigger. Because a lot of times I'll see people convey fear by making the pupils really small. And it can work, but in general, when people, like IRL, when you're actually like afraid, your pupils start getting bigger. It's part of your body's like, I suppose, fear response, because fear is a very energetic emotion. It's something good to think about. It's kind of like, because your body is like preparing for you to escape like a dangerous situation, but it feels like if it's in a dangerous situation. So you've got a lot of intensity to it, a lot of energy to it. So she's starting to get quite nervous here. And one thing that I have added is these lovely little shaky lines that I will show you. This is a very good way for, you can use this for anger, fear, as we're doing here. You know, if they're cold, it's just adding these little wavy lines to like the edge of the line art can make the character appear like they're shaking, and that can add a lot of intensity or whatever you desire. Circle. And here we have super scared, so eyes are all the way open. And then we have this again. These little stretch marks. Pupil is very big, very wide. Kind of like that like cursed anime angle when you know someone's about to go apeshit and it's like from the top and their eyes are really wide and their pupils are really big. It's kind of what it made me think of. But yeah. Another thing that's good for these sort of intense fear expressions is these little lines around the pupils. They kind of make it look like the pupil is shaking. And that really helps a lot, I find, with making somebody just look super like whacked out. Scared. I don't know what she's so scared of. And why did I always draw her hair swoosh going this way? I don't know what I was thinking. She's kind of looking in two directions. She's really losing her mind here. That's another, yeah, making eyes look in two different directions when done correctly can be cool. And here we have sweat drops, sweat lines. And again, like the teardrops, you don't need to go through a lot of like detail with the teardrop, like water drop shape. Just these little U shapes kind of going off. They give the like they convey to the audience that they're sweating without there being a whole lot of like crazy detail, crazy time. They just look nice the way they are. And that's fear for you. And now we have sort of auxiliary. This is the way that I draw Demon Charlie because she has a demon form. And I find that getting rid of any like eyebrows whatsoever brings this very like primal animalistic look to a expression because it just makes it look more inhuman. And I think it's very good for sort of like horror or fear or just anything that you want to use it for. It's if you want anybody to look like they're sort of losing their mind, just getting rid of the eyebrows and also getting rid of the pupils. I've seen it used in like anime if someone is like super shocked, their pupils will just like go away. Because I guess they're just so like their pupils got so scared they ran away, I guess. So that's another thing that you can do. And also I really like to use this downward like crescent shape. I find it to be very spooky and I like it very much. And of course big teeth, because that's what I like to do. I like to draw big teeth. Big pointy teeth. And well, there we are. That's Charlie. Here, let me get rid of that sketch. And thank you very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you taking time to see what I've done for you. Hopefully it helped. Disclaimer, like, you don't have to follow this. This stuff isn't like law or anything. This is just the way that I do it, and if you like the way that you do it better, or you think there's things that I did wrong, then like that's perfectly fine. You keep doing it the way that you want to do it, because art is subjective, and you don't have to follow. I'm not saying like this is the only way to do it, and if you don't do it like this, you're wrong. Like no, that's just not cool. Everybody does it a little differently, but if you want to take some tips and tricks from me, then well, here you are. And I'll go ahead and post this to my Twitter, and I'll link it in the description of the video so that you can like download it if you want for reference. And thank you very much for watching again. I really do appreciate it, and I will see y'all later.